You're 30 years old. You have a job. You pay your bills. You show up every day. But at night, when everything goes quiet, you open your banking app and you just stare at it. Not because something is wrong, but because nothing is really right either. There's no emergency fund, no investments, no plan, just a number that looks the same at the end of every month as it did at the beginning. And the strangest part? Everyone around you seems completely fine. Your colleague just bought a new car. Your friend is posting holiday photos from Bali. Your cousin announced he's buying his first home. And you're sitting there thinking, what am I missing? What do they know that I don't? Here's the truth nobody tells you. Most of them aren't fine either. But one or two of them actually are. And the difference between them and you has nothing to do with salary, nothing to do with luck, and nothing to do with where you grew up. It has everything to do with one single decision that most people never even realize they're making. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what that decision is. And more importantly, you'll know it's not too late. Stay with me. Let me introduce you to two people. Both are 23 years old. Both just landed their first real job. Same city, same industry, almost identical starting salary, $38,000 a year. Meet Marcus. Marcus is smart, ambitious, and excited. First paycheck hits and he feels something he's never felt before. Freedom. Real financial freedom. His own money. No parents. No rules. So he does what feels natural. He upgrades his lifestyle. Nothing crazy. Just small things. A nicer apartment, because he deserves it after all those years of studying. A car on finance, because the commute is long and he's earned it. New clothes. New phone. Nights out with friends. Subscriptions here. A gym membership there. Every single purchase made complete sense in the moment. And Marcus felt good. He looked successful. He felt like he was finally living. Now, meet James. James gets the same paycheck. Same amount, same date, same bank. But James does something different on day one. Before he pays a single bill. Before he buys a single thing, before he even thinks about what he wants, James moves $200 into a separate account he calls the account he never touches. That's it. Just $200. To everyone around him, James looks exactly the same as Marcus. Same job. Similar lifestyle. He still goes out. He still enjoys his life. He didn't become a monk. He didn't give up everything. He just made one small, quiet decision that nobody around him even noticed. Fast forward 1 year. Marcus has a full life, a nice apartment, a car he loves, a social life he's proud of. But when he checks his savings, there's almost nothing there. Every raise he got was absorbed by a slightly better version of the life he already had. He told himself he'd start saving when things settled down. Things never settled down. James has $2,400 saved. Plus, his employer matched some of it through his pension, so the real number is closer to $3,100. It doesn't sound like much, and honestly, it isn't, not yet. But here is where the story gets interesting. Because money has a feature that almost nobody truly understands until it's too late. Not because it's complicated, but because it's invisible for so long that most people stop believing it's even working. That feature is time. Not how hard you work, not how much you earn, not how smart your investments are, just time. And at 23 years old, James had just bought himself something that no amount of money can purchase later in life. He bought time. Marcus, without even knowing it, had just spent his. Neither of them understood what had just happened, but 7 years later, at 30 years old, the gap between their lives would become impossible to ignore. And that's exactly where we're going next. 7 years pass. Marcus and James are both 30 now. From the outside, Marcus is doing great. He got promoted twice. His salary is up to $58,000 a year. He moved into a better apartment. He upgraded his car. He takes 2 holidays a year and documents every single one on Instagram. If you met Marcus at a party, you would think, this guy has figured it out. But here is what Marcus's phone shows at 11 p.m. when nobody is watching. Savings account, $1,400. That's not a monthly figure. That's everything. 7 years of working, and that is the total. His car finance has 2 more years left. He has $4,200 on a credit card that he pays the minimum on every month. His rent takes 40% of his take-home pay, and last month, for the first time, he borrowed $300 from his mom for an unexpected bill. He told her he'd pay it back in 2 weeks. That was 6 weeks ago. Marcus isn't reckless. He isn't stupid. He isn't lazy. He is trapped inside a life that looks successful from every angle except the one that actually matters. Now look at James. James also got promoted. His salary is $61,000, slightly higher than Marcus, but that's not the important number. The important number is this: $31,000. That is what James has sitting in investments and savings at age 30, built from that quiet $200 a month that became $300, then $400 as his salary grew. He never touched it. He never even thought about it much. It just sat there, working while he slept. He still has rent. He still has bills. He still goes out on weekends. His lifestyle is not dramatically different from Marcus on the surface. But underneath, everything is different. Marcus wakes up on Monday morning and goes to work because he has to. The bills don't stop. The car payment doesn't pause. The credit card doesn't care that he's tired. James wakes up on Monday morning and goes to work because he chooses to. Not because he's rich, not because he's financially free yet, but because he knows, for the first time in his life, that if something went wrong tomorrow, he would be okay. He has a buffer between himself and disaster. That feeling, that quiet, unshakable feeling of being okay, is something Marcus has never experienced as an adult, not once. And here is the part that is genuinely painful to hear. The difference between $1,400 and $31,000 is not talent. It is not income. Marcus actually earns slightly less than James for most of this period. The difference is $200 a month and 7 years of leaving it alone. That is it. Nothing more complicated than that. But the story doesn't end at 30. Because this is the moment, right now, where the two paths don't just diverge, they completely separate. This is the moment that changes everything. Both Marcus and James are 30. And for the first time in 7 years, Marcus is starting to feel it. Not just see it, feel it. He's lying awake at night doing mental maths that never quite works out. He's avoiding certain conversations with his partner about the future. He's saying "I'm fine" to everyone, while quietly Googling things like how to start saving at 30 and is it too late to invest at midnight. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you about this moment. This feeling, this quiet panic that sits in your chest at 30 with no savings, it isn't weakness. It isn't failure. It is your brain finally doing the maths and understanding the stakes for the very first time. And that feeling? It can either destroy you or completely transform you. For Marcus, something shifts. He has a conversation with James, an honest one. The kind friends rarely have about money. And James shows him something simple, not a complicated investment strategy. Not a get-rich-quick scheme, just a compound interest calculator. Marcus types in his age. He types in $400 a month, roughly what he thinks he can free up if he makes some real changes. He types in an average market return of 8%. He hits calculate, and he sits back in his chair. Because the number that comes back, at age 60, is $587,000 from $400 a month, starting today at age 30. He sits with that number for a long time. Then James shows him something else. He runs the same calculation, but starting at age 23. Same $400 a month, same 8% return, same endpoint of age 60. That number? $1,100,000. The difference between starting at 23 and starting at 30, just 7 years, is over $500,000 from the exact same monthly contribution. That is the cost of those 7 years. Not in regret, in real numbers. Marcus feels sick. But here is the most important thing James says to him, and the most important thing this video will say to you. It is not over, not even close, because the second best time to start, and you've heard this before, but you've never truly felt it until this moment, is right now, today, this evening, before you close this video and go back to normal life, not next month when things settle down, not after the holiday, not when you get the next raise. Tonight, because here is the brutal reality of compound interest that nobody explains emotionally, only mathematically. Every single month you wait does not just cost you that month's contribution. It costs you every month of growth that contribution would have generated for the next 30 years. You are not just losing $400. You are losing $400 multiplied by time again for 3 decades. That is what waiting actually costs. Marcus understood it for the first time, not as a fact, but as a feeling, and that feeling changed him. So what did Marcus actually do? He didn't sell his car overnight. He didn't move back with his parents. He didn't cancel every good thing in his life and become obsessed with spreadsheets. He made 3 small decisions that same week. Decision 1. He opened a separate account and named it something that meant something to him. Not savings, not emergency fund. He named it Future Marcus, because every time he went to transfer money in, he wasn't sacrificing present Marcus. He was paying someone he actually cared about. Decision 2. He set up an automatic transfer of $150 on the same day his salary hit. Not after bills, not after food, not after everything else. First, before anything else touched that money, $150 disappeared into Future Marcus without him ever seeing it or feeling it. Decision 3. He wrote down one number on a piece of paper and stuck it inside his kitchen cupboard where only he could see it. Not a motivational quote, just a number. The number his compound interest calculator showed him for age 60 if he stayed consistent. $587,000. That number became his anchor. Now fast forward to today. Marcus is 40 years old. He still has the same job. He didn't become an entrepreneur. He didn't discover some secret investment strategy. He didn't get lucky with crypto or inherit money from a distant relative. He just kept going. And at 40, 10 years after that conversation with James, Marcus has $89,000 saved and invested. His credit card is completely paid off. His car is owned outright. And for the first time in his adult life, he has 3 months of expenses sitting in an emergency fund that makes him feel something he forgot was even possible. Safe. Not rich, not retired, not finished, but safe. And James? James at 40 has $187,000. He is quietly, methodically, unspectacularly on track to retire at 58. Not because he is exceptional, not because he earned a fortune, but because he started at 23 and never stopped. He will never be on the news. He will never go viral. He will never be the richest person in any room. But at 58, when most people are calculating how many more years they have to keep working, James will close his laptop on a Tuesday afternoon, take his family out for dinner, and never go back. That is the whole story. 2 people, same salary, 1 small decision made 7 years apart. And here is what I want to leave you with. You already know what to do. You have known for a while. The information was never the problem. The problem is that it never felt urgent enough. It never felt real enough. It always felt like something for future you to deal with. But future you is not some distant stranger. Future you is you in 10 years, looking back at this exact moment. And future you is either going to feel one of 2 things: relief, because you started today, or regret, because you waited for the right moment that never came. The right moment is always uncomfortable. It is always imperfect. The bills are always there. Life is always in the way. But tonight, Before you sleep, open your banking app one more time, not to stare at the number with that familiar quiet dread, but to move something, anything, even $50. Not because $50 changes your life today, but because the person who moves $50 tonight is a fundamentally different person from the one who closes the app and goes to sleep. One of them decided, the other one is still waiting. Don't wait. If this video made you feel something, share it with one person in your life who needs to hear it, not to judge them, just because you care about their future the way this video cared about yours. See you in the next one.